True control begins within you. Have you ever stopped to think about how many things in your life seem to be beyond your control? Traffic, the economy, the behavior of the people around you. All of this can generate frustration and anxiety. But what if I told you that the key to peace and success is not in changing the world around you, but in mastering yourself? The great masters of Stoicism, such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius, understood that the only thing we really control is our mind, our choices, and our reactions. Everything else is subject to chance, circumstances, and the will of others. The problem is that most people focus on what they cannot control and neglect what is truly within their reach. This generates suffering, insecurity, and a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." If you understand this principle and apply it to your life, you will see a real transformation. But to do this, you need discipline and self-knowledge. How to apply this in practice? Identify what is in your control. Your thoughts, actions, and attitudes. This includes how you react to criticism, challenges, and unexpected events. Accept what you cannot change. There is no point in stressing about traffic or getting irritated by other people's opinions. Focus on what can be done and move forward. Train your mind daily. Change does not happen overnight. Practices such as meditation, reflective writing, and self-assessment are essential to strengthen your mindset. True freedom comes when you stop being a slave to your emotions and external circumstances. The Stoic is not shaken by the chaos of the world because he has learned to control what really matters: himself. Are you ready to take on this power? Control starts with your mind, the art of self-responsibility. Have you ever stopped to think about how many times we blame external factors for our failures? Traffic made us late, our boss was unfair, the economy is bad, someone discouraged us. But the great thinkers of Stoicism, such as Epictetus, taught that the only thing that is truly under our control is our own mind. And that is where transformation begins. Most people live like a boat adrift, reacting to events instead of taking control of their own lives. Have you ever felt like this? As if you were being dragged along by emotions, impulses, or circumstances? Stoicism teaches that you are solely responsible for your reactions, and understanding this is the first step towards self-discipline and self-control. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "If you are distressed by something external, the pain does not come from the thing itself, but from your evaluation of it, and this is within your power to change." In other words, it is not the events that shake us, but our interpretation of them. If we learn to control our perception, we learn to control our emotions. Modern neuroscience confirms this idea. The human brain has a mechanism called the reticular activating system, which filters information based on what we focus on. If you believe that you are a victim of circumstances, your brain will reinforce this idea, finding proof of it all the time. But if you decide to see each challenge as an opportunity for growth, you will begin to perceive paths that were previously invisible. What to do in practice? Replace complaining with action. Whenever you feel like blaming something external, stop and ask yourself, what is within my control right now? 2. Create a Stoic mantra. Whenever something bad happens, repeat to yourself, this is irrelevant to my character. What matters is how I choose to react. Practice reinterpretation. Take a current problem and try to see it as a challenge that can make you stronger. The big truth is, either you master your mind or it masters you. Stoicism is not about becoming insensitive, but about consciously choosing how to react to life. Emotions under control. How the Stoics controlled their reactions. Have you ever lost your temper and later regretted it? Have you ever made decisions driven by anger or fear and realized too late that you acted impulsively? If so, you are not alone. Most people are hostages to their own emotions, but the Stoics knew that a man who does not control his emotions is like a boat without a rudder, at the mercy of life's storms. The problem is that we have been conditioned to believe that our emotions are something beyond our control, as if they simply happen to us. But this is not true. Emotions are responses to thoughts and interpretations that we create about events. Epictetus said, People are not disturbed by things, but by the view they have of them. Neuroscience proves this idea. The human brain has a system called the amygdala, responsible for detecting threats and generating emotional reactions. When we interpret something as a danger, be it criticism, a mistake, or a challenge, the amygdala triggers an automatic emotional response, such as anxiety, anger, or fear. But what the Stoics learned, and modern science confirms, is that we can interrupt this cycle and reprogram our emotional responses. How to control your emotions in practice. Stop and breathe before reacting. The Stoics practiced self-control by starting with breathing. The diaphragmatic breathing technique, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, and release for 4, calms the nervous system and prevents impulsive reactions. Question your reaction. Ask yourself, does this really deserve this emotion? Or what would a wise person do in this situation? Many times, we will realize that we are exaggerating. 3. Change your perspective. Marcus Aurelius advised that when faced with a difficult situation, we should try to see it as an outside observer without getting emotionally involved. This reduces the intensity of our reactions and gives us more clarity to act. The Bible also teaches this wisdom in Proverbs 16:32. A patient man is better than a warrior. Controlling one's spirit is better than capturing a city. This shows that true power does not lie in brute force, but in controlling one's own reactions. Life will continue to test your patience. But the big question is, will you be held hostage by your emotions, or will you learn to master them? The art of facing adversity, the Stoic secret to overcoming any obstacle. How many times have you faced a problem and thought, why is this happening to me? Or even worse, this is unfair. The truth is that life doesn't care what we think is fair or unfair. It just happens. The Stoics knew this, and instead of lamenting obstacles, they developed an unbreakable mentality, transforming difficulties into opportunities. The problem is not the obstacle, it's how you react to it. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. That which blocks the path becomes the path." In other words, the obstacle itself is the solution. This is one of the greatest lessons of Stoicism. What seems like a problem can be exactly what you need to grow. Imagine a warrior in training. He doesn't complain about the weight of the sword or the pain of training, because he knows that each blow makes him stronger. Likewise, each challenge we face can be seen as a test that makes us more resilient and prepared for the future. How to use adversity to your advantage. Accept reality as it is. Instead of resisting what you cannot change, accept challenges with serenity. What has already happened is beyond your control, but how you react to it is 100% in your hands. The 2, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Every problem brings a hidden lesson. By focusing on learning, you move away from the role of victim and take control of your evolution. Develop anti-fragility. The concept of anti-fragility, created by Nassim Taleb and inspired by Stoicism, teaches us that some things not only resist chaos, they grow stronger from it. Your goal should not be just to endure challenges, but to use them as fuel to become stronger. Science confirms. Neuroscience shows that our ability to overcome difficulties is linked to neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and grow in the face of challenges. The more we face difficulties with a positive mindset, the stronger our brain becomes to deal with future adversities. The Bible also reinforces this idea. In Romans 5:3-4 it is written, "We glory in our sufferings, because suffering produces perseverance character, and character hope." In other words, challenges are the stepping stones to our growth. The question is, will you allow yourself to be knocked down by obstacles, or will you use them to become stronger? The choice is yours. The power of discipline, how the Stoics made self-control the key to an extraordinary life. Have you ever stopped to think about how many things in life depend exclusively on your discipline? Success, peace of mind, and even happiness are not just products of chance, but rather the result of habits built with consistency. The Stoics knew that discipline was the secret to a full and meaningful life. True freedom comes from self-discipline. Many people believe that freedom means doing what you want, when you want, But in reality, this idea of freedom often makes us slaves to our impulses. Think about it. Eating without control, procrastinating, spending money without thinking. All of these seem like freedom at the time, but later generate regret, anxiety, and frustration. What do the Stoics teach us about self-discipline? Seneca said, "True freedom is in self-mastery." In other words, being free does not mean doing whatever you want, but rather having the power to choose what is best for you in the long run. Discipline is not a restriction, but rather a tool for building a better life. It is the ability to say no to what weakens you and yes to what strengthens you. Start with mental self-control. The first step to developing discipline is learning to control your own thoughts. Disordered thoughts lead to disordered actions. Marcus Aurelius practiced rational analysis, questioning his desires before acting. Before making an impulsive decision, ask yourself, will this bring me closer or further away from the person I want to be? If I repeat this action every day, where will I be in a year? Choose to use the strategy of small habits. Discipline does not mean drastic changes overnight. In fact, big changes come from small, consistent actions. Instead of trying to transform your entire life at once, focus on improving 1% every day. Want to read more? Read for 5 minutes a day. Want to exercise? Do 10 push-ups a day. Want to control your spending? Start by saving $1 a day. These small habits create a snowball effect, and in a few months, you will be at a level you never imagined. Reward the effort, not the result. Neuroscience shows that motivation comes from positive reinforcement. This means that if you congratulate yourself for each small advance, your brain will create a cycle of motivation. Instead of focusing only on the end result, celebrate each small victory along the way. The Bible also reinforces this principle. In Proverbs 12:1, it is written, "He who loves discipline loves knowledge, but he who hates reproof is a fool." Growth only comes to those who accept the challenge of self-discipline. Discipline is the key to personal power. If you want to transform your life, you must start by mastering yourself. There are no shortcuts, but the reward is a life of purpose, fulfillment, and true freedom. The question is, are you willing to pay the price of discipline to reap the rewards of your own growth? Emotional resilience. How the Stoics overcome any challenge with calm and wisdom. Life is unpredictable. At any moment, something can get out of our control. A problem at work, an unexpected argument, a financial loss, or even an illness. But the way we react to these challenges determines our destiny. While many people despair when faced with difficulties, the Stoics developed a powerful weapon, emotional resilience. What is emotional resilience? Emotional resilience is the ability to remain calm and act rationally even when faced with adversity. Instead of letting oneself be carried away by emotions, the resilient person is able to analyze the situation, accept what cannot be changed, and find intelligent solutions. The Stoics saw problems as tests of life. Seneca said, "Fire tests gold, just as difficulties test character." For the Stoics, challenges were not punishments, but opportunities for growth. Each problem was a chance to develop more inner strength. Understand that suffering comes from resistance to reality. Often what causes us pain is not the problem itself, but our refusal to accept it. Marcus Aurelius taught that the nature of life is changeable, and resisting it only generates suffering. Instead of wasting energy complaining, the Stoics focused on what could be done, what is within your control. Work on it. What is outside your control? Accept it and move on. Train your mind to respond instead of react. Most people act on automatic mode. If something bad happens, they despair. But the Stoics cultivated the conscious pause, a moment of reflection before any reaction. The next time you feel angry, afraid, or anxious, try this. Take a deep breath for 5 seconds. Ask yourself, does this problem really matter in the long run? Choose a rational response, not an impulsive reaction. This simple technique can prevent regrets and give you much more control over your life. Turn pain into learning. Every obstacle brings a lesson. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" the Stoics asked, "What can I learn from this?" Every mistake, every failure, and every suffering contains a lesson that can make us stronger. The Bible also teaches us about emotional resilience. In Romans 5:3-4, it is written, "Suffering produces perseverance, perseverance, character, and character, hope." This means that by facing difficulties with courage and wisdom, we become better people. Mental strength is true invincibility. True power lies not in avoiding problems, but in facing them wisely. If you learn to develop your emotional resilience, nothing can shake your inner peace. Now I ask you, what can you change in your mindset to become stronger in the face of life's challenges? Discipline is the path to freedom, the Stoic secret to absolute self-control. Many people believe that freedom means doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But the Stoics thought differently. True freedom only exists when we have control over ourselves. If we are slaves to our impulses, emotions, and fleeting desires, then we are not free. We are prisoners of ourselves. Why is discipline essential? Discipline is not a burden, but rather a means to achieve what truly matters. Without it, we are at the mercy of laziness, distractions, and destructive habits. Those who have discipline build a better future. Those who do not become hostage to circumstances. Epictetus taught that without discipline, we are like rudderless boats, adrift in the sea of life. If we do not control our desires, we waste time and energy on things that do not add value. If we don't control our emotions, we make impulsive decisions and regret them later. If we don't control our habits, we live on autopilot, wasting our potential. Mastering yourself is the first step to mastering life. The big battle is not against others, it's against ourselves. Procrastination, laziness, momentary impulses, these are the internal enemies that sabotage our growth. Marcus Aurelius said, "He who conquers himself is more powerful than he who conquers an army." Want to have more discipline? Start with small victories. Instead of promising huge changes, focus on daily micro-commitments. Read a page of a book every day. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Swap 5 minutes of social media for a new learning experience. The secret is consistency. Small changes, when repeated every day, create big transformations. 2. Avoid instant pleasures that weaken your mind. Our brain seeks quick gratification. Social media, ultra-processed food, procrastination. But every time we give in to these impulses, we train our mind to want more ease and less effort. Tips to strengthen your discipline. Avoid easy dopamine. Reduce social media and distractions. Replace instant pleasures with long-term rewards. Set yourself challenges. Train your mind to seek growth, not comfort. The Bible also talks about the power of discipline. Every athlete undergoes rigorous training to obtain a crown that soon perishes, but we do it to win a crown that lasts forever. 1 Corinthians 9:25. This means that effort and discipline today will bring eternal rewards in the future. Create a system that facilitates self-discipline. Self-discipline doesn't just mean having willpower, it means creating an environment that encourages positive habits. How can you make your life easier to be disciplined? If you want to read more, leave a book next to your bed. If you want to eat better, don't have junk food in your house. If you want to work out, prepare your gym clothes the night before. Making the right choice easier eliminates the need to rely solely on willpower. Conclusion: freedom only comes to those who have discipline. When you master your mind, your impulses, and your habits, you become truly free. Self-discipline doesn't take away your freedom. It gives you more options, more control, and more power over your own life. Now reflect. What can you do today to strengthen your discipline and become the best version of yourself? The power of resilience. How to get back up after any fall. In life, it's not a question of if you'll fall, but when. No human being is immune to failures, losses, and unexpected challenges. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who give up is in one single factor: resilience. What is resilience? Resilience is the ability to bounce back quickly from difficulties. It's what allows us to keep moving forward, even when everything seems to be against us. The Stoics believed that pain and challenges are inevitable, but suffering is optional. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not over external events. Realize this and you will find strength." In other words, we can't control everything that happens, but we can control how we react. Failure is not the end, it is a stepping stone to growth. Many people see failure as a sign that they are not good enough. But the Stoics saw failure differently, as an opportunity to learn and grow. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this situation?" How can I come out of this experience stronger? How can I avoid this mistake in the future? The Bible also teaches about this. Consider it pure joy, my brothers, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:2-3. In other words, difficulties are not punishments, but tests to strengthen us. Accept reality and adapt quickly. Epictetus said, "It is not events that disturb us, but rather how we interpret them." Often we suffer more by resisting reality than by the problem itself. When we accept that life is full of ups and downs, we become less emotionally vulnerable and more prepared to move forward. Tips to strengthen your resilience. Face problems as challenges, not punishments. Replace victimhood with a sense of responsibility. Remember, every obstacle carries a valuable lesson. The practice of amor fati, love your destiny, no matter what happens. The Stoics had a powerful concept called amor fati, which means love your destiny. This means that instead of complaining about difficulties, we should accept them as an essential part of our journey. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Accept everything that happens as if you had chosen it. In this way, you will transform every situation into an opportunity." This doesn't mean being passive, but rather learning to make the most of every situation. Develop an anti-fragile mindset. Resilience makes us strong, but there is something even more powerful: anti-fragility. While something fragile breaks under pressure, something anti-fragile grows stronger with challenges. How to become anti-fragile. See every problem as an opportunity for growth. Intentionally seek out challenges to get out of your comfort zone. Believe that no matter what happens, you can adapt and move forward. In the Bible, this mindset is also encouraged. 4. When I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 12:10. This means that strength does not come from the absence of difficulties, but rather from the ability to overcome them. Conclusion: pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Life will always present challenges, but instead of running away from them, learn to face them with courage, acceptance, and wisdom. If you want to master yourself and transform your life, you need to develop a resilient mindset. Now tell me, what was the biggest challenge you have ever overcome, and what did you learn from it?